we've talked about the different types of metal products here. I'd really like to kind of dig into fasteners a little more detail. Can you kind of go into that and speak to the different fastener type requirements?
It's a good question. So of the panels we have here, this is the only one that would normally have what we call exposed fasteners, where you'd be putting the screw right through. And of course, that's going to be a cap head screw with a neoprene grommet or washer underneath of it to keep the water from getting in and penetrating the system. All of these other systems that we have here are all concealed fasteners. So for example, this standing seam would be installed with clips. So there would be a clip that would attach to the roof deck and that would in turn hold the male lock down in place, and then the female lock on the next panel would snap down over it, all concealed fasteners. A lot of times the metal shingle panels will have what we call a fastening flange across the top hill edge, and that would be up here where you'd be fastening through. On the other hand, there are some systems that also have clips. So instead of having this fastening flange up here, it actually just has a straight interlock, and you put a clip on similar to standing seam and in turn fasten the clip down instead. Typically, most metal systems are being screwed in place. We do see occasionally on the metal shingles, though, sometimes they are using nails, and a lot of times that's an air-driven nail. But most of the other systems, usually they're being screwed in place at this point.
Okay. When we talked about fasteners in the channel drain or corrugated, where would they actually go?
Good question. So most of the manufacturers today actually recommend going down in the flats of the panel. There's been a lot of back and forth over the years, but it's really important. If this system's going to function properly, that fastener has to be driven very perpendicular, very straight into the substrate, so that you get good security of that rubber washer sitting well against the metal base. And so they typically will fasten in the flats now rather than up on the peaks.
Makes perfect sense. And then one more question on the coated type products. Do you ever see these, or is it very common to see these attached to like a batten type system?
It's a very good question. So there are a few panels like this that actually do have exposed fasteners, and that's because they have put the battens down. And then so the next panel, rather than interlocking horizontally, the next panel would actually come and lock over the batten, and then you're driving screws up through the butt of that panel into the batten. So you see that a lot in some of the stone-coated steel products were designed that way. So it's kind of a combination of of a sort of more interlocking type shingle look product, but yet it still has the exposed fasteners.